Hey everyone, I have some projects to share with you all today. Um, this is actually from my new kit from Paper Tray Ink. It is the InStitches Seahorse. And so by the time this video airs, the die will be up and available for sale, or the kit, whichever you prefer to purchase. Here is the die. It makes a plush seahorse, and there's a couple of different pieces, kind of the belly of the seahorse, the main part of the body, and then the spines here. And then there's a couple little fins and a little eye, if you want to use that. I like to use buttons or something like that for more dimension. And then here is a piece of coral. So that's the die itself. If you were interested in purchasing the kit is actually includes felt and floss for stitching, as well as the polyfill to stuff the seahorse. And what else does it include? Oh, there's ribbon in this kit this time. So if you're interested, it's available on the Paper Tray Ink website. I believe the kit is $62. And then the individual, if you're just looking for the die, is $36. So that is the main die that I use. I also use some coordinating dies from some stamps. This one is the Summer Shells die collection. It was in the previous release from last month, so you can see these are just regular dies for paper cutting, or for paper. But I just use these on some of my projects and cut some felt. I also used this particular rectangle set, the basic rectangles. This is the die to cut the actual rectangle, and then this is the die that puts the little dots in it. It doesn't actually cut the paper. I used a sentiment from this old set, Shutterbug Special, and it's this, I think it's this one that I used. And then I also used one from here. This is the one that I used, Just Keep Swimming. I actually cut it in half. Not in half, but I cut it. And then I used some dies from this Salt Air Flora, and some of the sentiments from this set, which is the Salt Air Sentiments. I use these dies in here. So those are all the products besides... Oh, yes, I used some vinyl. And if you can see this, it's got like a green to purple cast to it. So yeah, I used some vinyl and some seed beads. Got a little bowl here. So you can see I used some white seed beads and these gold ones right here. And so let me get to the projects. Hopefully I don't mess up. Oh yeah, I forgot. I did use some inks too. So we've got Harvest Gold, Lemon Tart, Terracotta Tile, Limeade Ice, Royal Velvet, Hawaiian Shores. I don't think I used a Tropical Teal. So those are the ink colors that I used in the various projects that I've got. So let me show you some projects. That was a lot, wasn't it? So this is actually the first one that I did. This is the top of my mason jar. I used some Royal Velvet felt and then some Limeade Ice felt and cut the little fish from the dies that I was sharing with you. And here is the seahorse. There we go. Same colors of felt as on the jar. And here's where I used the vinyl. I used it for the back fins and the little fins that you can cut out. And it is dimensional, so it's double-sided in this case. And I just think it turned out really cute. Now, what is this supposed to be? This is actually like a memory jar. Just before COVID started, my sister and I took a girls' trip to Florida, to Sanibel Island, Florida. And we went shelling as one of the activities because they've got lots of shells on that beach. It's one of the places that people like to go for shells. So I actually cut a die cut here of the seahorse in one of the sets that I had shared with you, put a sentiment, and then on the back it's got the date of our trip. So it was just in time. It was like last January before everything shut down. So happy we got to go and come back. And this is the Seahorse that I put on the jar, and it's full of the shells that we picked up. So there's that. And then the next thing I have is a Seahorse that I created actually a mobile. I put it on a ring, and this is just fishing wire that I've threaded through some pom-poms. And then here's the Seahorse that I stitched. This one's done with some Sweet Blush felt and fresh snow. And then I used, of course, some coordinating embroidery floss. And this is where I added the gold seed beads to the Seahorse for some, just something to enhance it a little bit. I put it around the tail and all the way up the spine. And this again is on both sides. So as it's hanging, it can actually spin around, and you'll see the same thing from both sides. And I had these pom-poms that were like a cream color, and I didn't have the exact color of the felt. So I took my re-inker from Paper Tray. This is the Sweet Blush re-inker color. And I just added it to these little wells here of this palette and added some water, and then pushed the little felt ball around in the puddle of ink to color it, because these were, again, a cream color as opposed to like any pink color. They're close in color to the Seahorse, but not exact. So I went with it. So unfortunately, you can't see this hanging, but maybe I can include something to show you what it looks like when it's hanging. So that's my second project. I also did a card, and this is a slimline size card. I used some stamps. Well, I used some dies from my stash to do the card base. And this is actually 2 coordinating papers from one of the recent kits that they released. It actually was it had a stamp and die set. This is the Share Your Heart paper that comes in at 8.5 by 11, and there you can see the different patterns here, but this blue and this yellow, this is actually the reverse side of the blue one. So I thought it looked like bubbles, and so I used that blue paper and the yellow paper, and then I again, here's my die cuts of all the shells. All of the stuff was cut. The Seahorse and all the shells were cut from white cardstock, and I used my inks to ink up the Seahorse and all the shells so that it would have different colors. So you would also know that this is, like I said, it's a slimline card, so it fits in a business size number 10 size envelope. So it's just standard postage. It will, you just put a regular forever stamp on it if you're mailing in the United States. So no additional postage there. So yeah, that's the card. And then one other project that I did, I decided I would do one that was flat. And this is a embroidery hoop that I had purchased. I think I got this from the thrift store, honestly. Sometimes I'm on the lookout for stuff like that where I can just reuse it into a project. And with this, I used cheesecloth that I gotten at a big box craft store years ago. And there's 2 different colors of cheesecloth here. And then I die cut one side of the Seahorse, all the different parts. And this is the limeade ice and tropical teal colored felt. And this is where I use the different, I also use some of those seed beads and put those in throughout the project. So you can see the fish have them in their eyes. The Seahorse has it up the spine and on the spines itself, and then on the belly. There's the sentiment that I pointed out. And then some little coral and starfish, starfish included in the project. So the other thing I did was I went around the edge with a ribbon here of coordinating colors, and then I tied it at the top with a loop. So this can hang on a hook. And it's like it's a decor piece. So those are my projects for the InStitches Seahorse. As I said, I'll put the link in the description box if you're interested in purchasing. Once this video goes live, I believe the kit will be available already. But I wanted to share that with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back. Bye for now.